Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, karibu sana, and welcome back to another episode of the Wednesday Waffle. Well, someone just passed by my window and it felt cringe for a minute, but we're YouTubers and it's what we do. It's like passing by somebody else's workplace and they're doing whatever they're doing. Will they feel cringe of whatever they're doing just because you passed by there? I don't think so. So note to self. And maybe other YouTubers or like content creators out there. Anyway guys, inshallah, I really hope you're doing well, and I really do hope that your weeks are going on well, inshallah. I'm filming today's video standing, if you can't tell, and yeah, I'm just trying out a few things with video editing, video recording and everything. So like this Wednesday waffle thing is like my experimental kind of way of doing it, but anyways, still trying to put across the message and still trying to show up and be consistent with it. Allahumma lakal hamd. This past week has been enlightening. I think all my weeks are at some point, at least most of them. If they're not tiring, they're at least enlightening. Allahumma lakal hamd. And I'm learning bits about myself, and some of the things that you learn about yourself are kind of bitter, like aren't things you would want to hear or like learn about yourself. And these are things like, subhanallah, are just things that I kind of pick up when I kind of like reflect and look back at the situations and everything when I'm talking to myself. I have this kind of habit where like if I'm going through a lot of things, if I'm going through like so many things, or like something that is really eating me up, sometimes I become unable to like process, or like if I'm not doing anything, I like to sit with them thoughts, and like sitting with them is like going through like what happened, how it's making me feel, why am I feeling like this. And I know like this sometimes can be a good thing to do, sometimes it isn't, and sometimes you actually need professional help to do such kind of things, because it's digging into areas where like it's very like, I would say, heated up. And بكل صراحة يعني it's a good thing, to be honest, but at the same time it's also مرة يعني, it's also bitter, because you learn things about yourself that you're like, this is interesting. It could be true, it could not be true, because you're learning it on what scale anyways. But we move and we pick the things we think are pickable, and we try our best in living each and every single day. So alhamdulillah. And one of the things that I'm learning about myself, I didn't want to speak about this, but like since the videos already are kind of like this kind of way, I thought like maybe I should share this. So one of the things I'm learning about myself is that I am a perfectionist to some degrees, I think that is. And the thinking is brought about by proof of several actions that actually happened in the past week, and also like in my life in general. I kind of, when I reflect about such kind of things, I'm like, that is the perfectionist trait coming up. And yeah, so like I do try my best and try and calm it down and kind of bring it up in areas where it's actually necessary. And but it can get overwhelming at times. And yeah, while being a perfectionist isn't the best thing possible, it's also something that can really eat you up, because you end up seeking it. And يعني sisi tunamsema watasema al-kamalu lillah, yani ukamilifu ni wa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God is the one who is perfect. And yes, we seek perfectionism, we seek being perfect, we seek being like 100% correct, we seek being good, very perfect in whatever that we do. And failure to reach that is where I think the problem with perfectionism comes in. Failure to reach that and the processes that people take to reach there. Okay, when it comes to the processes, Allahumma lakal hamd, I think it's something neutral for me, because I believe that we should treat ourselves and treat people with kindness, be good humans, do good in whatever ways we can. So I strive my best to do that. But for me, how perfectionism is kind of getting onto me is how it gets to me when I don't reach that perfectionism. It's like I do beat myself up a lot when I don't reach the targets that I have for myself, when the things that I envisioned aren't going as perhaps how they are going on the ground. And like I said, it's something good. It's something good to learn about yourself, but it's also something more. Yani it's also bitter, because you learn in the process. Like I'm learning that there is what I desire, there is what I'm thinking is the right path, or like there is what I'm thinking this is how my life should go and my life should be, but there is how my life is happening. And I think finding a balance in between, and like you are still working towards the thing that you want to achieve, and you're also accepting and living the life that you are currently in, is very important. Because if the two are very, very much wide apart, then there is going to be a lot of problematic things, and you don't want to find yourself in that particular situation, because it's really difficult. But then we're learning things about ourselves, we're learning that, and we're growing, and we're using these things that we're picking up about ourselves to kind of bring up and culture a better us, inshallah. So one thing I'm learning, one thing I'm choosing to actively apply in my life, is that I am learning to understand that there's things that are happening in my life, and at some point I wouldn't have control over. At some point, this is the way life is, and it's not perfect. It's okay for me to want the perfection. It's okay for me to strive towards working whatever dream thing I have. But the reality is that even this thing that I have right now, or like the thing that how my life is unfolding and everything, has its own goodness, and it has a way of, I need to bring myself into it. Like I need to bring myself like, oh, okay, I'm in this thing right now, and I kind of need to accept it a little bit more, if that is even making sense. But again, like the light is, subhanallah, it's like, you can tell that there is a shadow on like this side. But anyways, let's try something. Bismillah. Does that change anything? It doesn't. It doesn't change a bit. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is I used to write newsletters, and I don't know why I stopped. But inshallah, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's something that today I thought about, and I'm thinking of bringing it back, inshallah. I'm gonna try and revive my passwords from several websites and everything, but I did write in one of the newsletters before that what you focus on grows. Think about it. Pause and think about it. You're thinking about a relationship, for example. You're thinking about your studies. You're thinking about your work. You're thinking about your income. You're thinking about your fitness. You're thinking about your health as a person. You're thinking about every single other thing that you are doing, or like you are involved in. Think of something that you abandoned. Did it grow? Or even think of a tree, for example. If you water it and you take care of it, it's gonna grow. It's gonna have leaves, it's gonna have a stem, it's gonna have flowers, it's gonna have fruits eventually and everything. But if you leave it out, most likely it ends up dying, and it ends up not bearing anything, or like even having any benefit. The same way to some of the habits that you have. If you think about reading, for example, if you cultivate or like grow your culture of reading, you will read more. If you think or like work towards having a healthier life and lifestyle, you focus on that, you're going to have a broader mindset, you're going to have a broader understanding of health and fitness, you're going to have broader ways of implementing this kind of things in your day-to-day kind of life, you know. And the reality of the matter is that in every single thing that we do, what we choose to focus on actually kind of in some way bears something in the end, whether it's immediate or like it's delayed or anything. It almost always gets you something in return, and that is the whole point. While this is kind of very plainly out there, I also wanted to take and pick this concept and try and introduce it to something else that I wanted to actually talk about, which is like, think about the things you are actually focusing on right now. You can pause this video. I'm waiting, by the way. I'm not going anywhere. The video is gonna be uploaded. So just pause and like think about it. What are you actually focusing on right now? Where are you? Like, if someone amekusimamisha like higher, walk it, stand, like pause, you know, think about it. What are your key areas of focus in this particular stage of your life? What are you focusing on? I would tell you for a fact, for example, when I was a student, still am, by the way, apparently academia doesn't go anywhere else, guys. So like, when you're a student, I think people usually say like, the 844 thing has really consumed our time in school and everything. You know, we go to school Monday to Saturday, we go to school 8 to 5 p.m. We do a lot of things around schoolwork. Kutoka shule, kuna homework. Well, I'm so much against the idea of how traditionally we are taught in schools. Topic for another day, by the way. But I also made a video about it, yapping about how our education system is like rigged and everything. But like, if you think about it, it's like there is some progress that people usually make with the 844 kind of system. Even today with the grade 6, grade 12 system that people are using, there's still something that we can learn from it. And that people who are, you take your child to this particular processing company and schools, and you take them there, and number one, they don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to do anything with alphabets, with numbers, they don't know how to calculate, they don't know anything, they don't know how to speak. And then you take them to that school, they pipe down everything. So like, they focus on school, they focus, they go to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, they get to whatever stage that they get. At the end of it all, they can read and write. At the end of it all, they can speak. At the end of it all, they can calculate, they can count money, they can do what? They can live life necessarily as far as education and whatever we get to school is concerned. So like, if you think about it that way, like, there is something that someone went to school and focused on a certain key areas, and this is the end result they got. They get to read and write, and I think that is the biggest thing we learn from school, from like lower primary and everything. Thinking about it as well, في مجتمعاتنا يعني in our societies, especially the coastal societies, you get to find that there are some children whose parents made a decision to like take their children to madrasa, and others decided to take their children to school. So like, you have these two children where like, or like two families, for instance, where the children from a very early age went to madrasa and others didn't go to madrasa, for example. And you end up finding out that the focus is different and the end result is also different. So coming back to whatever we were discussing in the first place, pause and think about what you're actually focusing on in your life at this particular point. Now, we used the focus concept to bring in what you're focusing on in your life, and now I'm bringing in the final thing that we wanted to talk about because of the whole focus and everything. Now, the reason why I kind of brought in the focus thing is to kind of debunk my own ideas and kind of throw in a little bit of salt into what I might have said before, especially on this channel. Now, I need some water. Let me just pause this video for a minute. Alhamdulillah. So, where was I? Funny. Like, yeah, something I had talked about in this channel before, and especially when it comes to life in our 20s. Now, I don't know if I really said this or like this was in my head or something, but I ended up saying that in this particular period of our life, it's specifically called marhalat al-bina, where it's like it's the building stage. And building بالتخصيص يعني in a very focused manner or like in a very specified way is building knowledge and building تأسيس للحياة, building your foundations in life, your habits, you know, your lifestyle kind of manner, your interaction habits, your relationships and everything. هذه مرحلة البناء. This is the building stage. Now, if you think about it, like how I used to think about it before, is that I needed to do the most. As ما في مشكلة, and there's no problem in thinking in that way. I just wanted to clarify something. Well, I could be wrong. يا جماعة. I'm not saying that whatever I'm saying is يعني cast in stone. لا بالعكس. I really stand corrected. But when I think about it, it's like I really don't need to do much. I don't need to do much. I don't need to be doing A, I don't need to be doing 2, I don't need to be doing 10 things at a go. I really don't. Because بكل صراحة, if I focus on 10 things, I will be spreading myself too thin, and again, بكل صراحة, I wouldn't be having enough time to do most things. This is something, ya jama'a, I have noticed for me, myself, in January and in the beginning of February, ya jama'a. Yani I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to do this and that. Well, it's okay guys, if you have the capacity to actually follow up and stick on to so many things, do it. I'm not holding you hostage. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You have the capacity, you are able to do it. But when I thought about it, and for me, myself, and how it's applying into my life, is that, yes, if I did, for instance, 2 hours of blocked out time or focusing on something, I'm able to get better results or like make more progress than when I do 30 minutes of 10 things, you know? I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense. Yani, it's something that really I'm struggling with, especially with the percentage of my personality that is a workaholic. I'm not saying I'm a workaholic 100%. I'm just saying the percentage of my personality that is a workaholic is really struggling with this. And this is because like I do find myself sometimes like if I'm not doing work, if I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm wasting time. Why? But if I look at it, it's like, what if I choose to focus on just like 2 things or like 3 things and work on them like really well? It's like I'm gonna be good at this. I'm gonna be so good at this because like you've put in something, you've put in what people call like the 10,000 hours of practice into it. I'm not saying you have to do it, but like it's like, again, thinking about this, something that just came to my mind and I was thinking about it earlier on, is like, for instance, I know a good surgeon. Why is that guy a good surgeon? Do I know him to be good in anything else? Of course, maybe because I have very limited interactions, or like maybe I'm just interacting with the surgeon side of him. That is what I see. But if maybe this person had so many other things that they were working on, would they be that good of a surgeon if they were also good at 10 other things? I highly doubt it. I'm not saying it's incapable for someone to be that kind of things, but I'm just saying that the lesser things you work on, the better you are able to be, the more focus you're able to give, and the more outcome you're able to achieve. So I think it's pretty much clear from how I've said it, but a message to me, and probably anyone who wants to kind of hear it or follow it as well, is that you don't have to be working on everything. You don't have to be working on everything. Pick at, I would say, like maximum 5 things that maybe you want to work on yourself, or maybe 3, or maybe 2, whatever you can. It could be school and your deen. It could be, yani deen is not really a very good example to put in there, because it's something that we constantly work on, and it's like من الأشياء الأساسية في حياتنا. يعني it's one of the foundation things in our lives. So it's like الاستمرار يعني come 2025, 2026, 2027 بإذن الله, and all the previous years. يعني شيء في المرور, يعني فيه استمرار. We are working on it. يعني you are working on your deen every now and then, every single day, every single week, every single month. هذا الشيء أساسية. Things like health, things like deen, هذه الأشياء الأساسية. لكن when it comes to things like school, things like income, things like businesses and side hustles and hobbies and everything, to be honest, you don't really need. You might need, but you don't have to work on so many things. Don't spread yourself too thin. I'd say that, because if you spread yourself too thin, you're gonna just deplete your energy, and you're not gonna be able to maybe see through it. I don't know, but I really do hope that the message has come home, and I want to give myself and yourself a challenge that this upcoming week, let's try maybe and focus on maybe 2 things, 2 or 3 things, and make some legit progress on it. Like, let's work on it. We're picking thing A, thing B, thing C, A, B, C. This is what I'm working on this week, and khalas, nothing else. Okay, of course, like I said, فيه أشياء أساسية. There are things that are just there in our lives, that whether we say we're working on, we're not working on, they'll be there. هذه الأشياء في جانب آخر. These are things in another side, but these are the other things that we choose to put salt and spice on in our lives. Your career, your schoolwork, and whatever. Think of them and just pick like 2 things, 2 or 3 things. Work on them. Put something forward. Put some effort in it and see the progress you're gonna make. Instead of saying, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna show up there, I'm gonna show up here, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. The same way I think with friendships, which is something that just came up to mind. I think if you choose to intentionally work on specific relationships, then they grow. But if you choose to be a friend of everybody, you don't get to really know people in a deeper level. I don't know, maybe this is a bad example. Like I had something else added on top of this topics that I wanted to do today, but I see the video is already long, and yeah, probably I'll save it for another video, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for showing up. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys who watch these videos. And if you've watched until here, like, please let me know, like, what 2 things or like 3 things you will be working on, inshallah, in the upcoming week. our weeks here on this channel being on Wednesdays onwards, so like funny thing. But like, what are you currently focusing on? Inshallah, let me know in the comment section down below, and subscribe if you haven't, and like this video. It really helps with the algorithm and everything. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.